to show you how I achieved this look using my Yvonne Brazilian Kink and Curly. Many people have been asking me how I achieved this wig, and I'm going to show you how I did that in this video. If you want the same exact look, like in the pictures and the videos that I have in the beginning, then go ahead and get 16-inch instead of 14-inch. In this video, I used a 14-inch. That's why it looks a little bit shorter. So go ahead and do that. You need 4 bundles of however length that you want them, and then a mesh dome style wig cap or whatever dome wig cap you want to use, sewing utensils, scissors, an elastic band, and then I'm going to go ahead and apply my dome cap onto my mannequin head and go ahead and start everything. So as you can see, this hair is very beautiful, very full of life, bouncy, no dry ends. The ends are full, everything. It's movable. Love it. Love this hair. I've been wearing this hair for like 3 years now, so I love it. So now what I'm going to do is go ahead and remove those elastic thingies or zip ties, and just go ahead and open up the bundles. Now what I like to do is double weft in the back, and then towards the top, that's when I start to single weft. So as you can see, it's showing you how when you open it up, it's single weft, but make sure it's actually double wefted, like together. I'm going to go ahead and take my curved sewing needle, and at this part, in the beginning of every bundle that I use, I sew through the weft, and then right when I'm sewing, during the process of me sewing, I sew around it. So I sew through the weft at the beginning of the bundle, just so I make sure it's attached onto the wig very securely. This is my method of way of doing it. If you don't like it, do some other method, okay? Because this is the way I do it. So just showing you how I create this wig. All I do is just the basic left to right, so ear to ear, and do that all the way to a certain point where I'm gonna show you to change how you sew. So yeah. And my sewing is not all that neat, but you know, the hair sticks to the wig, it's attached to it. And I also make sure I sew through the net and not through the whole spandex band. Especially if you have a mesh dome cap, people try to sew through the whole band, and that's where things just get messy. So make sure you sew through the net if you have a mesh dome cap. So at the end, I like to go ahead and cut my wefts. If you don't like doing this, then you can just go ahead and hop right in and sew the other row. But I like to cut my wefts and just do it like that. I don't know, it works for me. As you can see, my sewing is a bit messy, but honey, it still stick to that wig cap, okay? So this is how the hair looks when you comb it out. I'm using a wide tooth comb that Yvonne hair sent to me. The hair is very beautiful when it's combed out. I love it. I love big hair. Very soft. I would say this softness and the soft look will last you about 2 weeks. After that, it will start to look more natural, and then the curls will still be looking good. As you can see, the pictures in the beginning, One of them, you can tell like the curls got a little bit more condensed together, if that's the correct term. But yeah. Now I'm just still continuing on sewing it from ear to ear, left to right, and all that stuff. So now I went ahead, I removed the wig cap, placed it on my head, and just marked the areas where I want the bangs to start and end. As you can see where the white lines are, I just used a simple NYX white liner to mark those areas. So I'm showing you where I did that, and I'm just gonna continue sewing to those those white line marks. I'm gonna continue to sew till there, and then after that I'll begin showing you how I create my bangs. So as you can also notice that at this point I don't cut my wefts anymore. Just basically take the wefts and I just flip it, sew it back again, flip it, sew it again until like I'm done with the wefts. So at this point I don't cut the wefts anymore. Another tip to make sure you're sewing your wefts straight and neatly is taking a pin and just, as you can see, taking a pin and just measuring it to the other side. Pin that spot, as you can see that where I did, and just go ahead and sew. So it can hold still, and then you sew it in a straight line. So now that I reached a certain spot on the wig, now I'm going to start going ahead and begin cutting and creating my bangs. So I go ahead and measure from the first line to the end of the line, cut those wefts when I do my bangs, and just sew it on, just like I'm sewing the rest of the hair. And I just apply maybe 3 to 4 single wefts of hair to create my bangs. I don't want it too thick, but you don't want it too thin as well. So yeah. After you're done with the bangs, I go ahead and I just sew my hair in a U motion. So I do not sew it into a circle, I just sew it in a U motion. Now, as we get closer to the top, I still have a double weft because I like my hair full, but you can start doing single wefts if you don't want it too full. As you can see, I'm showing you to start sewing it horizontally, like from side to side. So for like, let's say the right side, just sew it a couple times and then cut that weft of hair and switch it to the left side and sew that. So then it's like parted like a McDonald's M. So now I'm almost towards the end. At this point, I just go ahead and close it up. Sew it any crazy direction, just to make sure it's covered. Honestly, since it's curly hair, you're not going to see the wefts and where you closed it as compared to, you know, creating pixie cut wig. If you don't have the top piece to make sure you don't show, like to make sure it looks more natural, for curly hair, it's easier because all that hair just covers up, as you can see. Okay, so basically what I did in the middle, honestly, I don't know how to describe my sewing technique, but I just go through all the other previous wefts that I sewn on here, and then it just like tightens them up and like closes it up like in a bunch. So that's why my wefts never really show. With curly hair, it's much easier to make a wig because of how big it is. It will just cover up your sewing and all of that. But yes, this is a finished wig. I'm going to cut this, style it and everything, so make sure it fits my face. And yes, these bundles are a bit shorter than what I usually have. Usually I get 16 inches, but this is 14 inches. I want to see how this look and want to try it out, but hopefully still give me the same look I'm going for.